All right, Dr. Lopez. First question for you today is what does vato mean to you?
It is a word that I even grew up with, and of course, different geographical areas. You'll find the word vato, you'll find the word es de la palomilla, you'll find the word ese es way, it's a, they mean the same thing in different geographical areas. And so it is a word that expresses a culture in which you live. And my experience has been that um, El Vato was one that at an era in this nation from and in Texas, you would find those expressions and part of that culture from Houston all the way down to Corpus Christi, and then from Corpus Christi on down was another area of the Pachuco language.
Okay. Dr. Lopez, what does Chicano or Chicana mean to you?
Well, there is some definitions that if you go to the dictionary, and all depending on not all dictionaries is going to give you the same definition, but it is a people that were very much um, could not find their identity. They were not a from Mexico or from any Latin American country, but yet were born here in the United States, and yet didn't feel that they were Americans. Not that they were not Americans, but that they were made to feel that they were not uh, Americans. And so that expression, that definition, was given to that people group. Now, again, they're going to give you many other definitions. I would strongly suggest that you go to a say Our Lady of the Lake University, find some reliable sources and books that would give a definition, and then settle in your mind and your heart what in reality in that definition is for that people group.
All right, Dr. Lopez, what was life like for you growing up in the Chicano movement or here in Texas as a
Mm-hmm.
Latino?
Well, it was definitely an era. It was El Vato was a Pachuco. Now, Pachuco from California and Pachuco from Texas are two different groups. They had a lot of similarities. However, they were not always the guys that were in knife fights and chain fights. However, my experience was with the Vatos that I hung around with were definitely not only good guys, homies in the area, but they were guys that had pride and were pretty much fighters. They would carry pocket knives and chains, and were very good in their fighting against their opponents in Mexican dances, Tejano dances. And so it was that kind of environment where I grew up in. Other individuals, say El Pachuco of Califas of California, was more of a guy who had they had the uh, nice suit, the nice tie, chain, shoes, really nice, and decent. We would say decent today individuals, but so there was a difference. But that was my environment was totally different in Texas.
All righty, Dr. Lopez, thank you very much. Anything that you'd like to say to our Chicano literature class?
Well, one is really study it. Really study it in um, get involved in studying that era. Get involved to even understand the language and not be embarrassed about the language, because there is a dictionary, and I want to show it to you right here. I would strongly recommend you get this dictionary because it is a language. You know, if you communicate in a language, then you're communicating, and it is a language. And let as the scriptures say, let no one despise your youth. Well, let not anyone despise your vato knowledge that you have in your conversation. So it is a language. It communicates with some people. Like, I don't know sign language, but you know what? It does communicate with some folks. Okay, so I would say get involved in it. Learn it well. Learn the personalities that were involved in this movement, who they are, what they stood for, and understand it from their perspective, in their mind. To understand, because they did disciple some people during their time that they continue to exist today. We have this. Vatos Palomilla that we have them on the west side, we have them on the south side that they're part of, and they know who's been part of it, who is knowledgeable of it. So if you're really interested, get involved in it. Number two, be also very, very careful not to fall into a trap of liberation, that you're so oppressed, that these people were so oppressed that these pachucos and these vatos were second-class citizens, and so they need to be liberated. My friend, let me tell you something. The only one that can liberate all of us is Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. May the Lord bless you. Thank you so much.